kind of updated insight strategy patch 2. That's not it. I'm sorry. That one did not get updated. So, so the core insight that we're working on is that like today with the constant quest for innovation in the media agency landscape and a mounting pressure to actually like provide results for agency clients, two opposing forces pull on media agencies. So on one end you have the secure reliability of familiar methods. And then on the other end, you have that like thrilling risk of experimentation. So the strategy that we're working on is the security of Myriad fosters creative experimentation.
The security, you're still with the security word?
We went with security. Yeah.
Why?
Because, so we can talk about this. I'm curious
I'm just curious why. Okay.
Yeah, so that was the one that you had liked more than
you like more security than anything else.
What not necessarily the word, but this insight, this notion.
No. Yeah. I love by any means I'm challenging the insight. I was from a storytelling standpoint, from a creative director standpoint. When she was presenting her strategy, I thought it was very clever. But the word security from a technology platform or as a technology service, something that people, one of the main problems is that people don't understand what the fuck is this, right? The platform, how does it work? It's like science fiction or what the hell? You know what I mean? It's like physics, it's an algorithm, it's AI, it's like what the hell is it? It's like VR, like people are tired of, that's why ad agencies and media agencies are not listening to them. So as such, when you use like, are we calling someone?
Our fourth member?
Might say, yeah.
Oh,
so are you saying that the word security is emblematic of like tech jargon, and that's why it bothers you?
That's yes. Why? Because it started racing in terms of. I'm just saying as a pitch, as an agency, and that's why in the Google Classroom, this is more for the creatives that are more like maybe in the senior portion of it. But for you as a great strategist, that I see that you have the great potential. As many of all of them, the planners that presented, the ones that didn't show up, I just can't say. But you guys did an amazing job at impressing a CEO that when we go to a CEO as in an agency real world, as this class is the real agency world, the CEO is the last one to see everything. And sometimes the CEO bashes the team of marketing or whatever that approved everything and forgive me, you know what I mean? So you come from all this time working on these modes and these monkeys have done this, you know what I mean? And like giving you excuses and you're like, damn man, we haven't slept in 3 months because of all the filters and all the nonsense, and now the guy doesn't even approve the strategy, so whatever we presented was a waste of time. No way. That happens every day. Okay. So in the real world environment that we want for this class, the good part of, for you as creators at least, is embracing the factor that the insight went amazing with the client, for example. The CEO already, you have like he already sensed the water from what she tested. Cool. Came out amazing. The only thing that I don't want is that frequency of that the client now feels towards you as a planner, that she was the first one to present and she killed it. And it was like amazing because the first one to present, sometimes if you tank, you set up the bar for the rest. Even if everyone else shines, if you tank, you messed it up for everyone else. That happens in a concert, in whatever environment. You as an agency, it doesn't matter the order you present. You need to be that moment for the client to say how brilliant observation this is, right? You understand my business, and like no one else understands. Even my team doesn't understand this as concrete as you. Like this slide of, can you go back to the innovation required risk taking? The guy was salivating. You know what I mean? A CEO. A guy that created Tribal DDB. So, wow. Then, that innovation required risk taken, that is like the thing that he says, that's absolutely right. I haven't even thought about it. Now you have a clever, you already have something that the client already not only want to see. It's a very clever single thought. Innovation required risk taken. So, when you go to the security thing,
okay.
Mirror of the feeling of security to create experimentation innovation. It's more than the fostering part of it. It's missing in terms of, that's why the security is for me like, maybe that's also another shortcut that is like, don't try to you have to unleash previous innovation required risk-taking. It needs to be as amazing as that. The next slide.
Yeah. And again, it was the security of myriad fosters creative experimentation. That was the tweak that we made.
Okay.
Again, sorry, it's not reflected right
Okay,
now.
sorry. So the
security of myriad fosters creative experimentation.
But what? Okay, then define security. What do you mean by security? You ask.
I haven't touched this.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. So like we talked about stability as well, or safety.
It's not
that word. Okay.
I mean, what it is, it stems from the insight that the CEO loved. That was they're looking for a platform that offers longevity.
Correct, but
that's not.
You're talking about how comfortable you are with risk, so you can take this innovation as something that makes sense for you as an ad agency or a media agency. You know what I mean? That's his mental exercise that he said that's so cool because no one has told him this. And that's an absolutely right observation, insightful observation. So if that knocked the guy's socks off, embrace that in a way that, of course, you know what I mean? It may sound basic, of course, innovation requires risk-taking, but it's very powerful. So that's all about the comfort level about innovation. It's the same thing. It's like embracing technology. It's like people are like, no, I just don't like social media. There are people, oh, then you're a weirdo because you are hiding something. Why? I just don't like it or whatever. There's people that have reasons that to not like chocolate or universal stuff that everybody likes. But now for them as a technology platform, they need to say something that can link you to security or the frequency of that. You need to keep being in the frequency of fostering innovation. So security is about the comfort you need to have in order to trust this as this innovation is worth the risk. You know what I mean? Like it's worthy. It's not about the security. It's that you're gonna be. It's like you're gonna be so. It's like the difference between placing a bet into a hotel that the Trivago, the one that is like you're gonna get to the hotel and the hotel is like cockroaches everywhere. And it's like a crazy thing, and it's supposed to be a crazy villa in Jamaica, and it's like a crazy trash town. Whatever, you know what I mean? And it's, same thing needs to happen with your...
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
And it's just about that. Yeah. It's just that... Seems like semantics.
Yeah.
But it's the frequency of your storytelling. It needs to be building up towards that.
Okay.
Cool?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I think, like, as a team, we should probably, like...
Huddle.
Nail down the wording a little bit more. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so concepts.
Okay, so we're going to pitch this as a new dimension of media placement. We were trying to picture the way this worked, and none of us could really wrap our heads around the actual visuals of how these ads are placed. So we thought maybe we could elaborate on these illustrations of all the possibility combined with the powerful AI. So we really like this, visualizing this as a new dimension.
What's the name of this? A new dimension of media placement, okay?
So it's kind of, like, when you think about the third and fourth dimensions, like the fourth dimension is really kind of hard to visualize, which is maybe what...
okay.
Anyways.
I see where you're going.
So we'll kind of evolve these illustrations. All right, the second one, we're going to...
Fad-proof.
Yeah, pitch these fad-proof.
What do you mean fad?
So resistant to fads. So, like, survivability.
Sorry, if I'm losing translation.
Fads are like trends.
Yeah, like
flash in the pan trends.
So it's not just for one application. You could apply this to traditional film. You could apply it to emerging media platforms that come about. Okay. In addition, you can also go back and update your ad content from month to month that are in these second watch things. So this is touching on the security point that we pitched earlier. Is that like this technology is here to stay, and it's not going to go away when YouTube loses popularity to something else. In addition, you can also touch on these novel platforms like Twitch, which is something we kind of hit on in this next, we call it seamless sponsorship, which is where Myriad, obviously means fewer commercials. And it's a tool that keeps content affordable and break free while supplementing creators. We found that people that were resistant to ads aren't resistant to, not necessarily we found, but we looked and saw on these emerging platforms like Twitch that they like to support the creators, you know, so they do these little tips and whatever. But, you know, putting myriads in these things could be as simple as like, you know, a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then also like on the opposite end of the spectrum for the older demographic, the new media sensation is like video podcasting, which is the same thing.
Okay.
So it, you know, takes out to where you don't even have to do a live read ad for your sponsors.
Okay. But this is, again, more on the executional side of it. I get
Sure, but
it's not that I want to cut you off. I think it's clever.
It's really that we're pitching this as like, we're a partner for less commercials, less interruptions to get to your content and to put money directly in creators' pockets.
Okay, but cool. Keep going.
And that's it.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go one by one. How about that? Cool, because we have 3, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier. There's a team that brought like 8, and I was like, man, you had a lot, but most of them, what I'm gonna tell you is that how I feel. First of all, again, kudos to you in terms of the strategy presentation. You guys are more juniors than the creative team, and that sometimes maybe with the agency environment, maybe the creators need more from the planner of a more cooked strategy in order to come up with greater ideas and have more time and this or that. But we as creators sometimes have to respond in the real life experience of maybe young creators. Just to start us, whenever you go to an agency, hopefully you get to a great agency after the Millennial School, and then they send you to a young creators competition. And you win. How you win? Because they're going to give you a brief, and in 24 hours you need to come up with concepts, execute it, upload it on time, and make sure that everything is working, everything is checking all the lists in the briefs, and etc. Sometimes you don't have a planner to bounce the brief. You don't have as a creative, you know what I mean? You don't have that involvement. It's like you do what you do. It's what it is. And sometimes when the planner in the real world comes with the brief, there are creative directors that we can't challenge it. It's like we just need to, you need to do it sometimes because the agency is more about a lot of work. This one, new business, it's a pitch. Treat it as a new business. It's like, imagine that on the day-to-day, we all, as we do, have lives and everything in the middle of this class. This experience now is like, okay, she came up with a great strategy right from the get-go. It's a great platform too. It's a great innovation. Great concepts you have here. 3 great platforms that you can grab and hone into the angle of your clever strategy. So let's go one by one. So the storytelling component of it, I still think that you guys need to work in a way that whenever we choose the concept, then the storytelling needs to be all the way. If it's to concept, then it needs to be all the way until why you're splitting. You know, it's like it's all the way, but it's splitting because this hits this bucket, this bucket, this bucket, this bucket, but it's the same part of this. You know what I mean? So it comes across as well-articulated thoughts put together.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay, so a new dimension of media placement. I like the notion of it in terms of the innovation. I do think it's clever from a conceptual standpoint, creating like the new dimension, but this is more of like the lingo of like this is, like for example, great case something that can be how we can add to the digital world. For example, the New York Times, they were selling nothing in the paper and they were profitable as F, you know what I mean, in the world. The New York Times is the New York Times. After Trump starting attacking as fake news and all of that, this campaign of the truth and all of that campaign, that it was a very cheap campaign to do, or a very strong, articulated strategy, bold angle of, I know it's not that I want more subscribers. That ended up in more subscriptions because it ended up grabbing the attention of having an insightful conversation. The president was attacking the press, freedom of speech. Then the New York Times stepped up and said, yeah, someone needs to fight for the truth. The truth is important. You know what I mean? Period. Very clever, very single-minded. In the storytelling, it needs to come out like, instead of the new dimension of media placement, it needs to come across as that case. And search it up so you can see the storytelling. Look for the case study of New York Times versus Trump. I don't know, that campaign. I think truth is important. Fight for truth. I really don't remember like the lingo, but So you can sell this, you need to elevate this concept to that level of, this sounds more, the new dimension of media planning. It's like, yeah, it sounds like the new Google, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like, don't be techie. You can be like clever in a way, you know what I mean? Like what's the Grammarly, like the purple mattresses, the porta potty, for example. Shit's crazy. Do you see the porta potty?
Right now.
It's like a unicorn poop. And a guy saying that, oh, look at this, da, da, da. It's like something, Squatty Potty is the name. Squatty Potty. It's very out there. Okay, yeah. It's very out there. You know what I mean? And it's something to sell. It's like a step so you can actually do number 2.
Yeah.
In a way that it's productive and harmful or whatever. You read all that. It sounds like the most awful conversation, but they put unicorns on a person that you love the spot and they're talking about crap, pooping. One of the worst conversations.
I like those 2 examples, like the New York Times hard truth and then Squatty Potty.
No Squatty Potty. What I mean, the single-minded of like they're telling you a benefit in a very out there way of saying like the New York Times is very serious, emblematic. Purple mattresses, it's like a mattress. How boring of a category to sell a mattress. Casper is doing a great job about it. Casper, different on the category. It's like they are being like how Uber sells itself. It's like they chase the taxi business industry. Period. That's why they succeeded. Myriad as a startup, when they started, they thought that they were like an Uber at some point, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the ad placement and bringing back the magic or whatever, the iteration needs to stake in that thrill of the risk, like. Have something that it's above this, that doesn't sound like the new phone or the new camera or the new gadget. This needs to sound like the thing different.
Yeah.
Something that is like shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? For the ad agencies, to the media, but all the audience, but a new dimension of media placement is like, it sounds like this could work for the ad sales.
So these aren't client-facing lines.
No, I know, but what I mean, from a concept standpoint, the new dimension of it is that it needs to serve a purpose. Sorry, is this completely crazy going out of the... La alarma se está... ¿Está viendo loco el pito? No, bueno, pero simplemente... Okay, sorry guys. Then, you know what I mean with this one? So, keep going. Then, in this one, when you explain it, then it's kind of... Go to the dimension aspect of it, of like the innovation portion of it. Don't make it so... It's not about the techie looking kind of feel like Minority Report. No, it needs to be more about how clever is this new dimension of it. Like find the cleverness of how to say it in a way that, you know, for example, Casper does it in a very good way because it's or the purple is a mattress. But they do it with a storytelling of Goldilocks is the one telling you the purple story. The Casper is more like a clever kind of thought, copy-wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in the concept, the storytelling is a lot about the copy, really. Yeah. More about the art direction, but the copy, again, that's why the word security, like, it needs to be everything within the frequency of, it's like, it's I don't know, an album from, which is your favorite artist to say?
Artist?
Yeah, record, most played.
Beatles.
The Beatles. If you go and play the Beatles, it needs to be something that then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, what's your favorite album? Then, okay, Spotify has all the Beatles, from the classic to the LSD to the post to the Yoko Ono sessions, whatever, and John. And, but you like the Beatles. So you want to be an angle on which Beatles? The White Album, Revolver, the Sgt. Peppers, which one? Which Beatles?
Revolver.
You know what I mean? So, okay, so then, same thing, the narrow-minded, like innovation requires risk taking, needs to be like, for this one, needs to be like, there has to be like, what's the one?
Yeah.
It's not about the new dimension. It's more about the philosophy of where's the cleverness about this observation.
I think like the thing that he got really stoked about last week in the meeting was the fact that like what they're doing is familiar, but it's in an innovative way. Like anchoring it in something that we already understand and know is something that feels secure and familiar. I think that's the thing he got really excited about. So I'm almost wondering if like, do you think like the way to go about this in terms of concepting is like through some kind of like metaphor or analogy? Like, I don't really know. Like,
sometimes that works. You know what I mean? But honing to an angle that pays off, that at the end you want him to say, as an agency, if I want to pick one, they were the only ones that hit it on the top of the head when it comes to what my feeling is at the end. When what I want from people to get of the emotion of whatever. If I'm going to do the thing at Cannes, it's not about the execution of the Cannes. It's gonna be like, this guy understood my business like no one else. I just want to make them think a little bit more about whatever. Like, most of the time, the work that you present in the pitch is not the one that comes live, though. They do want to do this. Hopefully, you know what I mean? But think about it that way. You can come up with 1,000 executions, but check the list of deliverables, but make sure that as a concept, it's bold, so it doesn't matter. It's more than the Cannes thing. It's more than the tagline. It's as a whole. It's like a powerful train with no brakes that at the end it's gonna be not a crash. It's gonna be like heaven. At the end, it's like you win in the beach, Cannes, drinking, you know, boat, yacht. All the glamour that we don't get to see as when we're young, we aspire when we win all the lions. Hopefully, but that DP of creative or whatever agency or whoever that's gonna go there as young creators, that's so that may be a thing. Whenever they interview and you talk about it, people remember because they went, or maybe not remember because they were too drunk or something. It's like you and your portfolio are always going to have, as a planner, your strategy. But you as a creative, you're going to have something that was happening, that ad age picked it up, that whatever, that this brand I sold, I won this pitch. It was like the young lions at the end on my ad school student career. You know, I don't know if this is the last class. Maybe for this, you told me this is your last class, right? There are students that this is 1 quarter away from graduation. Their students are graduating in 2 weeks. So I just want you guys to feel that this can be something in your portfolio that opens you 1,000 doors. Cool? So Fat Proof Ads, I do love this in a way that is very well integrated as a function, but in the concept of it, still lacking on the concept. I see it very functional. Go.
Sorry, Juan Ignacio. I don't really know.
Me neither. Ad content can be updated over time for second watch viewings. Bibliotech. This is more about, it's a clear observation that this is not gonna die. This eventually won't go away, even if cord cutters win the battle, all the cable companies go to hell, and it's like the VHS beta and with DVDs, and now that doesn't even exist anymore, almost. You know what I mean? So record labels, like for this one to make it a concept, it's like it needs to be more of an industry changer kind of deal as a concept. So it's like, so this makes sense. It's like we're doing this in these platforms. Why? Because not only our audience, we can do crazy things here, more fertile grounds. No, it's because our whatever battle is gonna be, we're gonna be like the new cockroaches for digital. How many things in Silicon Valley crash at the month? Like they don't even start a startup because yeah, they have the money, but at the end the technology didn't work out. So whatever. This one, they already have the technology. It's like, this is not gonna fail. They already have the technology, they have the cases, it works. It's like, people don't understand it. So, how do you make this your case so people understand the technology? You know what I mean? This is more about, yeah, in this digital world, many things are gonna crash and burn. Maybe they think that we're just one more, but we're not one more. Why this is like that campaign? You know, why this is the risk-taking one in a way that, because we are also taking a risk too. Because we are also using we're only gonna go with, instead of going all the way in YouTube, we're just gonna do it in Twitch or whatever. We're just gonna partner with Netflix. Forget about Fox, forget about NBC, go like bold in a way that, yeah, you have already your partners or whatever, but at the end, they're all struggling too, doing their own DirecTV now, DirecTV AT&T Uverse is like, who is the owner? Xfinity, Comcast, what the hell? Time Warner, all the mergers. Like, try to put it in context so it's an insightful battle, Karate, as a concept. Right now, this one feels more of a part of the functionality, how you match it, and it makes sense. Yes, makes sense, but it's not that clever of the concept that pays off. Oh shit, wow, you know? And the next one. I do love this one in a way that, next. I think that what I like about this is something that not necessarily it came across in the message of this concept. Because while you were explaining it, it was making more sense than what's on the slide. Because, yes, Myriad means serious commercial, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, don't fall in the trap of poking holes at your own creative concept. And why? Because when you say Myriad means fewer commercial as a statement, it's wrong because that statement is false. You know what I mean? It's like if you go to the, I don't know, Mythbusters, whatever, that's a false. Right off the bat, false. Bah. You know, the guy doesn't even need to do the experiment. Why? Because we want to put more commercials. Let's start right now. So, the CEO, you can have whatever. He's gonna tell you, bullshit. You know what I mean? There's people that say, can you go next because this one doesn't even make sense because this. Okay, bye. Even if the execution is the next Grand Prix in print, he's not gonna care. They killed, you know what I mean? The pitch, this is where you learn these kind of things like there. The client is like, I couldn't even present the new, I wanted to get a stab at a Can Lion and it was a print ad. And the client didn't even listen to the concept because the strategy was off, something like that, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't want that to happen. In this one, you have a great strategy, great concept. This one, make it a concept that doesn't start with a boom in the feet, you know what I mean? It's like you're starting like the race against Usain Bolt. You have rockets here, but then all of a sudden he says, okay, I'm fine, I'll run, you have rockets. But then all of a sudden, when the race starts, the rockets don't turn on. He's gonna start running anyway. He's not, oh, so technical issues. It's like, he broke the record again, running almost backwards. You had rockets, everyone's gonna remember that. In a way, this one, Myriad encourages a new way of this. It's a tool that is going to affordable and commercial free. This do I love, the second portion. Because this is not, this is a false statement. We all agree, right? From a concept standpoint, it's a tool that keeps content affordable and commercial free. That's not a concept. It's more of observation. Yes, this platform, that's what it is, right? Understanding why Myriad is, works, or what is. But that's not the concept. When you go next, okay, so this one is okay. How you can go into the Twitch? What I mean is go more into the explaining why innovators. This makes sense in a way that most of like the clients, for example, it's gonna be the first time in their life that they're gonna listen about Twitch, maybe, or maybe do it as this parallel. It's gonna be as weird to them how Twitch work to the agencies and the media agencies, how Myriad works. You understand that? As an innovation standpoint, the dollars from innovation, the budget, are going to come from the same thing. At agencies, everybody's going to invest in that digital, how you want to call it, this innovation budget. From the innovation budget, they're getting their money, right? They can be like, I'm the new great thing, blah, 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 because they're like the humble in the technology aspect, like I'm not an Apple, I can do like Apple versus PC approach. I like the great approach of the new dimension, but in a way that it's ownable and it's more in brand and it's technology driven, but it's, again, don't fall into the trap of another innovation, really, another new what? The all new, the all new, the all American new, the all new international, the all new, oh my God, the egg. You know what I mean? The egg. That. So, in this one, they won't understand what the hell is this. You know what I mean? Try to say it in a way that this is maybe the idea that conceptually goes more into, you know what? Now that, yes, we're saying that innovation involves risk-taking. Now this is an idea that involves a lot of risk-taking. Maybe Apple at their time, they picked, instead of selling to the massive crowd of technology people that could have a computer at home, they just went for the guys that not only could only afford it, but the guys that were buying them. Same thing you need to do, it's like for their audience. So Taylor made maybe this idea in a way that this is more like their statement on, I'm doing the innovation on innovation. And it makes sense. Make this more about, your spiel is not about fewer commercial. Your spiel is about myriad means, the innovation under what people is talking. When people talked about innovation, we were creating. You know, it's like we are the today, tomorrow that everybody promised, but for real. It's like lowering that down to earth. It's not being a dick of, I'm so great and amazing. You know what I mean? No, it's not like, they are not that. They want to be clever, humble, accessible, and approachable, because it's technology. Like, what the fuck is that? Twitch, there's people that doesn't understand. You tell people at e-gamer, what? There's a college for that? Are kids getting paid nowadays because they play video games? The hell? I was, what? When I found out, I saw the video, now there's ESPN for that. The hell? The guy now, like, hanging out, LeBron James, like, what's his name? Ninja? The guy, it's like, in my times, that was impossible. That was actually all the reasoning behind you were grounded, actually. Because you were gonna be not that person ever in the life. No, it's like, then that's what I think is like, that's insightful as reality. It's like, this guy now is famous. For them, it's gonna be something new to hear at the presentation, maybe. You know, this guy that has been in the Super Bowl next to LeBron James and all this guy. He's not a stupid guy that takes selfies. He's not this guy that is a transgender guy. He's not a Me Too movement. He's not that. He's okay. He's myriad as a persona. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we want to become. He's our think different metaphor. You know what I mean? Like, in this one, that it's a word for them that's gonna be like, that's what you want them to feel like. Fuck, exactly. That's exactly how I feel towards Snapchat. It's like, I don't understand why my daughter uses that shit. Same thing happens to their clients. That's why they're not getting the money they want. How can they become profitable when they embrace we are weird? So fucking what? Weird is the new successful. You know what I mean? It's like, we're embracing this. Risk-taking. Why we are like, I think that you need to come up with a concept that, yes, is spot on in the innovation component of it, but I think that in your presentation, it's going to be important as like a kick in the presentation, like to be perfectly on strategy, clever on strategy, and then a powerful take on your strategy. So it's like a range under an amazing platform. You know what I mean? It needs the story, and that's all about the storytelling.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
I know it's late, and I've been talking to 8 teams. You're with the 8 team. I want to guys understand that for me, round 1, I'm not going to evaluate like these concepts in a way that I know that it was very short time. This is part of the real exercise of this. I know you guys were kind of sick. I don't know, all of you, 2 of you, all of you. I don't know. Thank you guys for being the last team. Thank you guys. Thank you especially for presenting so good. Thank you guys for understanding that I know you were kind of frustrated in the beginning with the class, and you kind of were all lost maybe in the beginning on what was happening with the class. But you that now stay at the last team, it's almost tomorrow already. I want you guys to understand that you have one of the greatest chances in all the teams. I felt as if my gut feeling tells me that someone can win, if you guys bring it home, you guys can be those ones. And I haven't said this to any of the teams. Completely off the record, it's on the record. ultra on the record or everywhere on the record. But bring it home, guys. You know what I mean? Like, this is a point in time when, yes, it's maybe last class for someone, maybe it's my beginning as a planner, maybe it's this, that, what it is, but at least grab this one as the chance of this class serve the purpose for you as from now on. If you get into the young creators, if you get into a young planner competition, or if you get into the young creators too, or you're a creator that it's another creator that copy or art, I don't remember, art. So if she couldn't make it in a way, like try to from now on it's showtime in a way that it needs to be like you're saying, okay, the Beatles then. People criticize, Ringo, he doesn't make anything, but there's a cleverness on his way of playing the drums. He was basic, but smart basic. It's not basic because it's dumb basic, it's smart basic. Same thing like Myriad, like when you're talking about innovation dollars, you need to come, it's like a return of investment, you know what I mean? Like from a business standpoint at the end. Talking about like, forget about that the guy created one of the greatest agencies, Tribal DDB. Forget about that he knows, he smells, he breathes advertising since years ago.
Yeah.
I think that you guys need to come across as the agency that at the end embraced what they couldn't translate. You were like the translator of, they need a translation. That's why they're coming to Miami at school.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys nailed that in terms of, that's why I was so excited when he saw the first thing that this is exactly what I've been trying to say. Almost like hitting himself in the face, like, I should have thought this. That, when that happens, the CEO, a guy like Top Dog, embrace that then. Then Showtime, then bring that to a Super Bowl game, you know what I mean? Then it's round 3 to do that. This is what round 1. We're just testing waters right off the bat with how it feels with the strategy. Now you're gonna have the chance to go back with your team, rethink the strategy. Like, okay, it needs to be the angle, is the innovation requires mistake, and the security word is not part of the frequency. Again, imagine that this needs to be like a process where you need to, from the beginning to the end, it needs to be like a knockout. That it's like when you're proposing to someone. Yeah, it's gonna say yes because you've been boyfriend and girlfriend for the last, I don't know, 5 years. I did it in less time, yes, when I was younger than maybe you guys, but that's not the point. The point is when you're proposing or you're trying to get away with whatever, someone hiring you or landing the whatever job you want. You need to be convincing right from the beginning, so you get that yes in a way that it's not that, yeah, shut up, yes, or yeah, give me the ring, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to be that person, you know what I mean? And you don't want to come across as that person. If you want to, for example, that's why I try to, the romancing part of it is very much like that, because I think that, for example, I don't know if you saw the movie Scent of a Woman, the Pacino one that he's blind and the guy, whatever. Like, the guy is blind and dances tango with a girl. And all his character is a blind guy. So the romantic portion of that end that I'm trying to tell you is that imagine the character, Al Pacino, big actor, dancing tango, one of the most amazing romantic, and it's a very romantic, classic, iconic movie. For you, it's like it's gonna sound like I don't know, for me it was like the black and white movies, but see that movie, Scent of a Woman, in a way of romantic. The way he captures in the scene, the tango scene, that he's blind and he's able to tango is the beauty of it, because he said the smell of the lady, like I love your perfume, then he dances the tango being blind. It's like, the power is not because the guy was blind, it's that he made a big romantic scene. Same thing is happening with your concept. Big, bold statement, big, bold sentiment that needs to come across as, at the end, they need to be like, I just want this agency. Why? Because I love all of their ideas. Why? Because I not only love the strategy, I don't know where to pick. It's so good, everything is so good that I don't even, it's so clear to me that you guys are the ones that won. That it's so fair to the rest. I don't know, like, that's what you want. I told this to a team, that's your goal. I think from all the teams, and I'm telling you this, maybe shooting myself in the foot that maybe you're gonna believe this and then you're gonna do anything else and now you're gonna, don't believe this until you prove it. Now it's showtime. Everybody's at the same level now. Bake your concepts, pick them, send that to me and Serena. So you guys, it's like you already have the approved strategy, correct? So set that 2-3 concepts that you believe that is like, this is where we're gonna go, or the 1 or 2 concepts, this is where we're gonna go, and go with it. So in round 2, you come up with concepts that are fully baked as concepts, and if you need validation before you execute, I'm down, Serena is going to be available, Manolo is going to be available. Manolo said, and this is, the planners maybe are going to know about this, JP is going to know, but please serve as the voice to the rest of creators. Ask to your other teachers, like the portfolio teachers you guys have, like Willie. You have Willie or Marta? Willie? Okay, talk to Willie. Then Willie, I've been struggling maybe with this class for all these pitches, but now I have this chance. It's like 3 rounds of presentation. I presented these concepts. I think that this is this and that. Before you go, whatever, talk to other teachers. Get 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th opinion. This is an opportunity that I would have loved to have had as a student. Win it. You know what I mean? I would love to see you guys winning as anyone. I want first the client to be like crying, like I can't only pick one, everybody won. No, I don't want to be at the consolation prize of everybody wins, nobody loses. Sadly, it's going to be only one idea that wins, but as a grade, I'm hoping that everyone gets the A+, not for effort, but for coming up as you guys are going to kill it in the agency world. As planners, as creative directors, as creative heads, as inspiration, as artists, etc. Cool?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.